The murder of Thomas of Becket. In 1170, Thomas Becket was the Archbishop of Canterbury, the highest position in the Church in England. He fell out with the king. The king wanted power over the Church in England, but Thomas of Becket said that the Pope ruled the Church. One night the king was angry and said, "Will no one rid me of this troublesome priest?" 4 knights heard what the king said and went to the cathedral and killed Thomas of Becket. The Battle of Hastings. In 1066 King Edward died. There were 3 people who wanted to be king: Harold Godwinson, Harold Hardrada of Norway, and William, Duke of Normandy. Harold Godwinson was given the job, but the other 2 didn't give up without a fight. Harold Hardrada was killed at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. While Harold was fighting, William landed in England and went to battle with Harold, and William fought for control. On the 13th of October at Hastings, William used his archers to put an arrow into Harold's eye. William became King of England afterwards. The Crusades. In Europe, everyone was a Christian. They wanted to go to Jerusalem to see where Jesus had lived. Jerusalem was controlled by the Muslims, who didn't let Christians visit. The 2 religions fought for control of Jerusalem. Knights brought back goods to England, for example, food like melons and new medicines. The Peasants Revolt. In 1381, 30,000 peasants, the poorest people, marched on London and demanded to see the king. The peasants were really upset because the king had raised taxes and no one could afford to pay. Also, many people had died during the plague of 1348. The people who lived tried to get better wages, but the king wouldn't allow it and made laws against peasants demanding higher wages. The Feudal System. William used land to help him control the people in England. The land was divided up amongst the barons. In return, the barons gave the king an army if he needed one. If a baron rebelled against the king would take his land away, and the baron would become poor. He would go to the bottom of the feudal system and become a peasant. Castles. William introduced castles to England. This allowed him to see over the people and the countryside, and the people would see he was very powerful. If people attacked him, he would be able to defend himself against the king in the castle. If outsiders attacked England, the people would be protected inside the castle walls. The Black Death. A disease came to England in 1348. It came on rats. When the rats died, the fleas bit the people, who then caught the illness. People got lumps under their arms and between their legs. The lumps were black and were very painful. The plague killed 1/3 of the people in England. The people did not know what caused the plague, and they did not know how to cure it. King John and the Magna Carta. King John and his barons fell out. This was because he lost wars and land in France. He fell out with the church, so nobody could get married or be buried. His barons rebelled and made John agree to the Magna Carta, a set of rules that John would follow. The king will not take taxes without Parliament agreeing. No man shall be put in prison without a trial. This gave Parliament more power in the country. The Doomsday Book. King William needed money, so he needed to get taxes off of people. But how much? He sent his men out all over the country to find out. 1. How much land the people had. 2. How many people lived on the land. 3. What animals did they have. 4. What their land was worth. From this he understood how much he could tax people, and put powerful people in charge to make sure that the money was collected. Robin Hood. Robin Hood was believed to be an outlaw who lived in Sherwood Forest. He stole from the rich, and he gave it to the poor.